Is it just week 2, or is it time to panic? We'll discuss that next.
Yay! Hey, what's good, everybody? Good evening. It is Monday, September 19th. We on the live stream. Going to recap that Lions game that we had yesterday. But first and foremost, let's welcome our good friend of the show, our boy. You know him from the Redzone In the Lab podcast. He's the king of Commanders Twitter Spaces. Let's welcome our boy Deuce. Deuce,
what's good? What's good, man? What's good, man? What's good? How y'all doing, man? I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's an honor.
Yeah, thanks for coming, bro. Me and you try to link up for a while, man. Doing your thing on the YouTube channel and on the podcast and in the Spaces joint, man. You dominate that thing. I remember when Spaces first came out, it was kind of a open environment. Not a lot of people were getting into it, and then a few people just like took it by storm, and there's just like a few core spaces that everyone just kind of gravitates to. We play with it on Sunday too, but that's good stuff, man. But how you feeling about Sunday, man? Just first, without going into details, man, how are you feeling about the game?
I don't feel too good, but I'm keeping in the back of my mind that it is week 2. As far as the offense is week 2 in the offense, 2 full regular season games. Got to kind of keep that in my mind. I don't feel the same way about the defense. I think they have been in this defense for a while. They don't have new players, so they have experience in this defense, and it doesn't seem too many things have changed. So way I feel about the offense, way I feel about the defense is a little different.
That's fair. And before we go any further, let's when we have people on our show, first and foremost for the audio crowd, it's your boy Steve. We had Phil on the intro, and we got Dev live and direct joining us too. But for every guest we have on the show, Deuce, regardless of they're from the enemy or from the Commanders crowd, we want to know everyone's fan story. So tell us how you became a fan of the Washington Redskins / football team / Commanders / whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, man, I was born into it. I'm DC, born and raised. I lived on 19th Street growing up, which is like 2 blocks from RFK. I can remember how RFK used to be rocking the experience. We lived on a one-way street, so after the games, all the cars used to always come down my street. It was a one-way. They used to stop, blow the horns, and be singing the songs. When I turned about 11 or 12, somehow my mother got me a job at RFK pushing sodas. So I was able to experience all that, man. I was able to experience the stadium rocking and all that, man. So yeah, man, I've been here rocking with the Redskins, watched the football team, and now the Commanders all my life.
Man, that's what's up. That's a good story. It's good to see different people's perspectives. Some people are born into it. Some people, transplant from other areas, which is we have a lot around here. So yeah, I'm also from the DC area. I'm living in Silver Spring right now. Phil was born in DC proper, and Dev's down in Kentucky. But it's cool because sports like this bring us all together, which is through the good and the bad, we're still here, man. Yeah. They can talk about our loyalty, but we haven't faltered at all. For sure. Yep. Marcus, welcome to the show, bro. Welcome to the show. If you haven't done so, go check out Sports View 2 on Facebook. That's Marcus's sports group on Facebook, so please go check it out. And so Deuce, for the quick game recap, let's talk about it. So we lost 37-26. It's 36-27. Have a little dyslexia. Mm-hmm. Rough start. We didn't score anything at halftime. We went into the half 22-0. And so all 3 units, flat start, offense, defense, special teams. I don't even think we got a first down till I want to say our fourth drive or something like that. So it was nasty. It was rough. And then we finally, I don't know what happened. Either Detroit slowed down or we sped up, but we kind of took over the second half, scoring 27 points. They scored 14, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. We saw a lot from the offense at the second half, which is, the tale of two halves. But the defense continued to just consistently get beat down the line across the board. But I'll start with you, man. Let's talk about the first half. Like, what were you? What was your observations going into the first half? Like, how were you feeling when you saw this team just come out, flat like a pancake?
So Detroit got the ball first, right? We won the toss, we deferred. They came out, we played them really well. We forced them to punt. When we came out, it was kind of different tune than what we did last year. It seemed like we wanted to try to hit the deep ball. It seemed like the plays were long developed, and I cannot confirm that until I get the all 22 tomorrow. But that's what it seemed like. I think he had time in the pocket. Even on Aiden Hutchinson's first sack, actually his first 2 sacks were covered sacks, right? Carson had at least 3 to 4 seconds to throw the ball. He was moving around in the pocket. But I just think that Scott Turner may have outcoached himself. I think he was looking to do something that he thought that he could do from the game tape. But I think sometimes you just got to stick to what works and let things develop, kind of sort of what they did last week with the quick passes. I noticed in the Philly game that Detroit was getting upfield pretty quickly. They was rushing, they was blitzing. So I think you counter that with quick passes. I thought that played right into our pocket, but for some reason it just didn't seem out that we came out that way. And they came out, punched us in our mouth a couple times. They went down and scored, and we just couldn't we couldn't bounce back. And as I look at the game, the full game, the regular game back, I don't think, like, I know we can really be down on the defense, but I think the defense played pretty well. It just was the big plays, right? You had Amar St. Brown on the mixed coverage that got him 40 yards down the field. And you have Swift with the 50-yard run, the big plays. Most of those happen on like third down. But when you look at it all in a whole in the first half, I think we just got out coached, and they countered, punched us in our mouth. They caught us slipping. Guys wasn't in the right positions that they should have been in, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, Phil, what about you, man? How do you feel about the first half?
At first, I thought, we shut them down the first drive. I share a lot of what Deuce said. First half, it seemed like we were going to like kind of a bend but don't break defense. Like, we'll let you get field goals because our offense can score. And then they broke. I mean, it was for about the first 2 drives. I was like, okay, they got the field goal, and then they got the safety, and I was like, all right. This offense gets untracked. We're good. And then the kick return. And then they scored a touchdown. When it got to 12-0, I was like, oh. But I just felt like, we did I think they need to develop a better philosophy of, are we going to be an attacking defense, or are we going to be a bend but don't break defense?
Right.
There's 2 ways you can go about this, and I felt like they went from one to the other, and like I said, I wasn't sure where they're going with that, but that's what worried about me about the defense. If they stick to this thing of, we'll hold you to field goals, because we did help them a few times. They got into the red zone, and we kept them to field goals, and we stopped them. We stopped them a couple times at the end of the half. That bled over to the second half. We stopped them several more times, and it wasn't like they weren't trying. Detroit was trying to put the points on. A, because they got to prove a point, and B, they know our offense was going to start clicking at some point. They know their defense wasn't that good.
I'm glad they knew, because I ain't have no idea.
What's up, Gunny Man? Gunny Man says Turner's offense soft. S-O-F-T.
No,
it's hard to call an offense soft.
I can't say the offense is soft when we played like that in the second half. We put up 27 points in the second half. They weren't playing no damn prevent till the very end.
Yeah, Dad, what you think, man? What was your thoughts going into halftime?
We stink, and everybody should be fired, and we need a mic. And St. Juice is horrible. Like, those are the things I thought after the first half. Second half, I'm like, yay, we're back. And then, did he ever explain why he went for 2?
Analytics.
Yeah, he said the analytics is what did it. Like, there's charts out there that says if this then this, your probability of getting it is this. And so apparently Ron's really into it. I don't care, man. And Deuce, I'll ask you that second last touchdown. That was our last touchdown.
Well, it ended up being our last touchdown because
no, it was our second to last.
Oh,
our last
right.
touchdown is the one Slide missed the kick on.
Well, I understand analytics,
right.
but I couldn't find one person on damn Twitter or social media that was like, "Yeah, that was a great move."
I think somebody else did it and was successful though. I think somebody else did the same thing, and was successful though. But nonetheless, it was just a weird. After they made such a comeback, man, it deflated the room. You know, it deflated the room, and then it double deflated when Sly missed. You know, but jeez, man, like those are some dumbass plays of the game. Why lose like that, man? We were already gonna ass handed to us, but it was starting to look like, man, we might pull some dumb shit out. At the worst case, get overtime. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine what would happen if we had won that game.
Man, dude, we'd been like this with fucking what's his face, Scott Turner and Ron. We just gave them a double fist jerk off if we had that'll win that game on a. But yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I think that we shared a couple of things. One, we'll fight. This team will fight. This team obviously is fighting.
Tampa Bay will fight. We would just hope we win. That's what we
fought. Because you're down 22-0, you can just go out there and coast at that point. Guys will just, do things robotically.
Not in this league.
Defense, hey, look, the defense, Gunny Man down there in the comments don't know what he's talking about. But we were down, all right? They know we're going to pass. And they couldn't stop us.
I wonder why in the first half we didn't see a lot of it almost looked like they didn't run any of the same offense that we saw in the first game. Like there wasn't a lot of Samuels motion in the backfield and running. Wasn't even any fake handoffs to him. Those are the things that got us loose in the first half of the last game. And it just seemed like they stopped doing it and just went more traditional in the first half. The second half, you saw a lot more motion into the backfield. And, even the jet sweep to McLaurin, which I thought was dope, how he motioned and stopped, and then he handed it off to him. That was dope. Like, we hadn't seen those things in the first half, and I just wonder why.
I just think it's weird. Like, I think Scott Turner has two halves of a playbook, right? And he should throw out one half of it. The half that doesn't move the ball.
I think he scripts the plays.
Creative. Like Scott Turner apparently does have a pretty ingenious mind. And we've seen this in fits and spurts before. Y'all remember the Dallas Thanksgiving game back in 2020. We pulled out all the random shit in that game, right? Obviously, he's got a deep bag of tricks to make things move and happen. We need that, all right?
I seen somebody yesterday do that, the quarterback sneak move where he motioned Thomas behind the center and run the quarterback sneak last year. He was doing that a few times. I saw a few teams. I saw like Baltimore and another team do that yesterday too. Yesterday.
Do you believe that teams are copying our offensive coordinator?
Right.
Last year, you couldn't have told me that.
Yeah. Marcus says our offense was off, but I liked better when our defense was aggressive, but it's a communication issue between the coaches and players. And he also says, I think our offense will be better once more reps with Carson and the receivers and the defense is having a disconnect between the players and coaches. I think the offense is
Carson's not having no problem. Carson right now is the number 2 quarterback in the NFL. Rating and yards wise. Him and Tua. It's like we're living in the upside down, bro.
We were blaming the offense and the defense in the first half, but like I said when we opened it up, the offense didn't get a first down for the first 5 drives. So the defense,
you're very vanilla offense.
You're sitting down for 3 plays, maybe almost 90 seconds, and then you're back in the game. Like
we never tried. We weren't getting exotic like we ended up doing. Like when we get creative, shit happens.
If Holcomb could tackle, if St. Juice would guard a slot receiver, we could probably win this game.
Going back to the defense, I'm trying to say the offense didn't do shit to start the game. That's all I'm saying. Like they could not.
We tried to man up on them. We don't man up on teams. We're too talented at the skill positions to do that. we need to use these talents, and we
Yeah.
do when we get creative. When you see guys motion, when you see things like Samuel's coming out the backfield, when you've got Terry running deep, when you've got Jahan Dotson going over the middle, outside, Logan Thomas caught himself a touchdown on a nice post route. Which, by the way, when he caught that touchdown pass, I shouted so loud I
By the
freaked
way,
out
Bates
my
can't
dog
catch,
for the
bro.
next 15 minutes.
Bates
Yeah.
can't catch, bro.
He put that on the rope.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, thanks for joining us, man. Corey Lott, our boy Corey. He said everyone was making a big deal about the 2-point try. But in reality, none of it matters if we don't spot a line. It's 22 points. For real?
Shit,
Yeah,
we caught up with 22 points.
I think
That's
a lot
the
of
point.
things about the 2-point conversion and the analytics. Like I was totally surprised he kicked it. I mean, he went for the 2-point. I would have kicked it. But when you think about analytics, they also calculate momentum, right? We had 4 straight 3-and-outs for the Lions. We were moving the ball.
Yeah.
We were scoring. We had all the quote unquote momentum. If you're a momentum person, I'm really not. I got a little thing about
I don't believe it exists.
I don't, but that's all part of analytics. And they were up, they went in, he tried it, they missed it. I mean, if they would have made it, if they would have got a 2-point conversion, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I don't think it deflated them, right? Because the defense came right back out, did what they had,
Right.
what happened. We came right back out and we continued to move the ball, and Sly missed the kick. And I think Sly missing that kick, I think that's something that's really being devalued here about him missing a couple in the preseason. So I think that's something that's not really being talked about today. That's something we need to monitor.
What's wrong with him? It hasn't come out publicly anyways, but I mean, he run for 3 times in a row? 2 times in a row? Then we failed a kick? Is that how it went down? On Sunday?
Look, I liked Sly last year.
Is something wrong? We don't know about?
It's only
Is that
one
Brian
extra
Johnson
point.
kid still out there? I'd like to bring him back.
It's only one extra point, man. It's not the sky's not falling.
Not.
You know what I'm saying? I know it's just one extra point.
Extra points in preseason too.
Yeah.
Field goals.
Gunnyman says
You only missed 2 last year.
look out of here. Saturday afternoon
what?
offense, not for Sundays.
Saturday is a day on some planet in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
So we're in that futuristic space age offense.
What's up? Yeah, I'm in Japan. Thanks for joining us, man. I know you're in class or in and out of class, but thanks for hopping in, man. Saw you over in the Ref to Disc stream earlier, so good to see you over here. Thank you for joining. So, Deuce, we're gonna move into something else we like to call Overreaction Monday. So it's Monday. It's time to get dramatic. You can say whatever you want. It's time to overreact. So let's start with you, man. What is your Overreaction Monday thought? It can be whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be realistic. That's why it's an overreaction. What you got?
Oh man, it's really so many, man, because the good thing about spaces is that you hear a lot of people's perspectives. Sometimes they be way over the top, so you just gotta ignore them. A lot of times you gotta eat the meat, throw away the bone. But one of the overreactions I think is the anticipation of Brian Robinson coming back. It just seems like with us and this fan base is always when this happens, when this person comes back. And I think sometimes you can't worry about what's not here. That's what Doc Rivers. I'm not Doc Rivers. That's what the great Rick Doc Walker told me. Hey, look, I don't care about who's not here. I'm caring about who is here. And you have to perform. You out there to do a job. You have to perform. We can't wait on who's not here, right? We can say we're gonna get better when this person. Well, what if somebody else drop when they come back? Then it's always gonna be a running excuse of we are not at full strength. And overreaction to that, man, I think we just putting too much hype, or I don't even want to say hype. We just putting too much, using that as an excuse of why we're not performing now. It's because Chase not here, because Robson not here, because Cole Turner not here. I just, as an overreaction, I would just say I think we just using that too much of an excuse.
That's fair. Hey, Dev, I'll go to you, man. What's your overreaction for Overreaction Monday?
Our defense is terrible. I mean, I don't know if that's an overreaction though, right? I wish we would use Jamin Davis more as an edge rusher than what we're doing. But I where I understand it from what Ron said in an interview after the last game is that I think Curl would probably be in there versus Jamin Davis on those situations. But you seen on first down, Jamin rushed the pass rusher, rushed the quarterback and got a sack. I wish we blitz him more. Use him like Dallas uses
Micah
Parsons.
Parsons.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't put that guy out there in coverage all the time, man. Just run him at the quarterback, man. See what happens. Blitz him in the gap, see what happens, man. You know,
I was very happy to see Jamin Davis play better in coverage this game, though.
Yeah.
Jamin Davis has the tool set to cover, but why do it if he's not doing well? I mean, it all goes back. It all goes back to go get a mic. Go get a mic.
It would help. We're not getting the mic. We at this point in the season, we're not.
The ship has sailed.
We need a center now. Hell.
Yeah. Real quick before we go on to Phil, Marcus said we should put a BSJ on the outside, filler in a slot. That might work.
Right.
Yam said, free period, trying to jump in as I can. Can't get enough commies content. Thank you. Yeah, make sure you go subscribe to Deuce's channel as well. You can go check it down, and it's in the comments. The links are in the comments.
Steve hates comics, man.
I hate comics too.
I say it too. I say it too sometimes.
Corey said, I'm at a loss for words talking about this defense. Everyone calling for Del Rio's job, but shouldn't the players sharing the blame? They still don't have to execute. So if you saw what John Allen said, he said that on Twitter today. He goes, I hate it when we put everything on the coaches when we're the ones who have to actually play. So He did say that publicly. I don't know if that's the captain on his chest trying to say that. But Phil, we'll go to you, man. What's your overreaction? And we'll get back to a couple more comments.
It's not an overreaction, but it's a reaction that people probably find me surprised. As I've said this, I'm leaning on that fire Del Rio.
Really?
Which is funny, because a lot of people think that I'm like this big, caping for
because your Twitter banner has the Del Rio bite D's quote.
That's because he's saying bite D's, and I dig that. Okay, you know what? Because that's pretty much how I feel about the fan base sometimes. But what pauses me on fully jumping on that bandwagon is who the hell are you going to substitute him with that's going to do better?
Right.
Just got another sub, Deuce. There you go. Yam in Japan subbed up.
Everybody's like, oh, Chris Harris. The fuck is Chris Harris is coaching the worst group, the most underperforming group. See, people will talk about how bad our linebackers are. Our linebackers are limited in terms of skills right now. Like they are what they are. Our defensive backs are supposed to be really good, and they're playing horribly. All right.
I don't know, man. I don't know how many times I look back there and seen, I haven't heard anyone get mad at McCain or Forrest the whole year. Say what you want to say.
McCain was the one who blew that pass to Swift where he fell down and got back up.
No, that was Jackson, bro.
No. Jackson blew the tackle. McCain was supposed to be covering him was nowhere near
Jackson
him.
Jackson fell down the end zone, and then St. Rod.
No, you're talking about the no. You're talking about the St. Brown catch. I'm talking about when Swift caught that ball.
Took off for 50.
Oh, all right.
No, he froze a little bit.
Froze.
That's man. I've been saying over the whole offseason that I give Jack Del Rio that I give him 8 games. If we come out of 8 games like 3-5 and the defense is playing horribly, Ron has to make a move. And you might not think that Chris Harris. He might not be the guy. He might not be better than Jack Del Rio, but I just think there's something going on. You got St. Juice out here liking comments about the scheme not fitting. You got Jamin Davis out here. He's got Jamin Davis out here posting Django Unchanged type
because
stuff.
They think that they can do better than what they are. Too.
I think players.
As much as people like to think that coaches are idiots, I think that if coaches are idiots, players usually are too.
Yeah, I don't think it's more or less the scheme was the reason.
I know that a lot of people just want any reason for Del Rio to be fired, even if his defense was number 1.
I want him to reactivate his Twitter again so we can actually fire him for calls.
I don't think it's a scheme more, but I do think it didn't help it. But I do wish, man. I'm just like you guys, like Deuce said, I will give it like week 8 or 10. I want to see what it looks like if it ever gets to full force. At least give him a shot, because it is true he is missing some guys that should be playing.
Yeah,
and who are playing different positions than they will be playing. I get it, but dude, it's not like if they were just getting beat like 1-on-1, I wouldn't be like, well, that's the player. But if no one's even in the area, like the deep dig by Amon Ra, whatever the fuck his name is, that guy, That's crazy. He's wide open. The best player on their team. He's the best player on their team.
Our defensive backs do not communicate. That is on Chris Harris.
Yeah,
that's Chris Harris, and people are already wanting to anoint him as our defensive coordinator. It's like, dude, he can't even teach our defensive backs to communicate with each other.
Defensive backs don't communicate. Linebackers don't.
Yeah, but also
what you learn in high school. If you're playing defense
it could be related to scheme too. You know, Del Rio scheme. If people got it sold, a new guy comes in with a new scheme. That's all you need. You know what I mean?
In football, bro. If you're a linebacker, if a dude crosses in front of you in a cover 3. You follow him out of your zone to the next one. You don't just
if I were Del Rio, I would do whatever the players want to run, let them run it. And if they fail, I come out and say,
oh, he's done that, right? He's done that with Jamin Davis. But I think the thing about Del Rio is that we got to realize when Del Rio came in that first year, we were playing, we were, you know, I think the defense was overhyped. We came in 21 overhyped, but he had mostly the same players, and they regressed. And another year we have the same players and they regressed again. When you think about scheme fits and you think about let's talk about Jamin a little bit. There's no way Jamin should have been lined up one-on-one with Kirk in any game, anywhere. There is no way. It even happened again on Sunday when he was lined up across Brown. That's coaching. That's all coaching. That should not happen. You shouldn't have 2 linebackers out there when you got 4 wide receivers and a receiving running back.
I think that's
not the case. And anytime Jamin Davis, and another thing about Jamin Davis, you understand, like Jamin Davis is who he is, right? He was overdrafted. All right, I get it. So now stop treating him like he's a first round linebacker, because he's not. Put him in a situation where he can win. On that stunt when he got that sack, those are situations where he can win. How many times did he actually go back to that? I don't know for sure. I don't think it was a lot. I have to go back and watch the tape. I'm very curious about that. It's about the guys that you have, putting them in the right positions. And, you know, a lot of people on Twitter talking about, like Fred Smoot saying, put St. Juice back on the outside and Kendall Fuller and nickel. That did not work last year. That's what they was doing at the beginning of the year. And with Fuller, that just didn't work. And I think the PFF grade on Fuller last year was an overreaction to some fans that love Fuller.
Yeah.
But I just think that sometimes you just got to make a move, man. Like you can blame Harris for the defensive backs, but ultimately it comes down to Jack Del Rio. And I just don't think he's making the necessary adjustments as a whole.
I think he's teaching it right and they're not doing it, which is still, in my opinion, a reflection of coaching. But I mean, it's hard to say because it's like we clearly see the mistake. So I don't feel like that it's coaching totally, because we all know that the guy was supposed to follow, that Juice was supposed to follow Amon across the field. We can see it. That's not a coaching issue. That's a player just not doing it.
Yeah. Let me get to some of these comments real quick. We're falling behind here. Marcus says his overreaction is, why is David Mayo and John Bostic still on the roster?
Man, we treat Mike's like Kim Kardashian treats NBA All-Stars, bro. We just
why was he on special teams? That was
Mayo or Bostic. Yeah, I don't know. Yam says, I just don't agree with the coaches.
He only plays decently when he's moving in one direction.
That's to the
Yam
said, I don't agree with the coaches, especially Ron singling out players, especially this early in the season, especially when it's not even the right player. Corey says, I really believe we made that second 2-point try. There's really no backlash from it. The point is we got down big and early, whether right or wrong call. We put ourselves in a position. Mike from Southwest, Chili Mike, chilling on half. Our boy Eddie and Mike from the Eddie Mike podcast. What's up, bro? Thanks for joining us. I know he was late, but he's here. And Yam said, I only said it to anoint you, Phil. I actually don't like the commies either. There you go.
Well,
then, Mike also said, yes, Phil, fire Del Rio. And look who else we got in the house.
Give me a better
Shy Guns. Go
What
Pack
up,
Guns.
I don't think you fired Del Rio.
Give me a better option than Del Rio. I will
over.
take it. I haven't seen it yet. I have seen one. I saw one person who replied to me and said Greg Williams. I said, I'll take that. Give me Greg Williams.
don't
I'll
want
take
me
Greg
to
Williams.
District, our boys Nathan, Trevin Stoner. Also, please go check out their YouTube channel if you haven't done so. Good guys over there, good friends of the show. All right, so my overreaction is we're just not that good. I'm telling you, I'm just throwing it out there. This is overreaction. You can always bring it back. It's overreaction. We're not that good. People were saying we're going 12-5. We're going, 13 and 14 and 4. We're going 11 and 6. I mean, we're still probably a 7-10 team and or
This
an
is
8
still
and
a
9
10 and
team.
7
That's
team if they can get their
okay.
head out their asses.
It's okay.
A lot
I know
of
we're
people
hyped.
needed to be humbled, man.
Yeah, we need to be humbled. And who cares if that's a wrong overreaction? I'm fine. It's okay. I'll be wrong. It's just that we have this hype train, and we're fans, we're fanatics. That's what we do. But that's okay. It's just that I just don't think we're as good as we fans think we are, because clearly we have some flaws.
To piggyback off of that, Sam, my biggest fear of this season is not being very good and Wentz is good. That's like the worst case scenario, man.
Yeah.
Because next year you're going to the season again thinking, well, what do we do about Wentz? And I want us to either be really good with Wentz or Wentz be fucking terrible. Like, it's got to be one of the two. Wentz can't keep playing good and the team bad. That's the worst case scenario for Washington because you'll be in purgatory forever. You'll be picking 14, 15 forever. You know what I'm saying? You'll never get over the hump, bro. And that's what I feel like is going to happen. That's why I didn't want Wentz. Not because I think he's terrible, but I would rather just be asshole terrible with a chance to get a good player and use some of that money to get pieces for the future than not be able to get nobody and shoot for 7 and 10 every year. Because that's what it looks like what we're going to be.
Yam thinks we're JDR might be losing the defense. I mean, I think it all started when over the social media stuff last year. Stupid as it was, people still think about that stuff, and you can't just delete it and say, okay, we're good now. I think people still.
I don't think anyone on the team really gave a shit about that.
I think half of them feel like that, bro.
No, I think so too.
I don't know, man.
JDR's talked about this. The players talk about this too. He keeps his office open. They had conversations about this kind of shit all the time. If it was really that much of an issue, it would have come up sooner.
Yeah, the NFL ain't the NBA, man. The NFL ain't the NBA. Them dudes.
I know.
And feel like that.
Let Deuce talk.
More shit the fan base stirs up because of the fact that I don't like someone's politics. Fire them. No.
That's the NBA.
Fire him because he's not doing his job. Cool, but people were wanting him to fail.
If Jack Del Rio coach for the Wizards, they've been gone a long time ago, bro.
Go ahead.
I know for me, coming out of last year, even before all the stuff with Jack Del Rio, like I tell people all the time, I mean, I'm recording. I be in recorded spaces, even on my podcast. You can see why I said that Jack Del Rio is going to have to improve. I've been saying 8 games without any improvement. If they continue to regress, he needs to be fired. And then when those things came out, with the politics and those comments and all that stuff, it affected me. Yes, it affected me as a person. It affected me as a black man. So I know for a fact that if it affected me and those things that he said, it also affects the players because they're human too. But they are in a business where that's their job. So a lot of times they're going to, they're not going to express it the way like I'll express it. But to say I don't think that's an issue at all with any of them and losing the locker room, I won't say that it is, and I won't say that I won't, but I won't say that they don't care about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Corey says the scheme doesn't fit the players' personnel, but these guys still get paid millions of dollars to do a job. Yam says, for this thing going to third season, both Ron and JDR keep trying to take circle placers and fit them into oval coverage. Yeah, I mean, they've been investing a lot into the offense. For the defense early on. Now they're finally, the last draft we just saw them invest a little bit to the offense. So Mike says the defense is regressing each season. I mean, 2020 was great. I think we got by on the sheer athletic ability of Chase and Montez together. And then when he got hurt, we saw a little bit of creativity once Landon went down in 2021, but still a lot to be seen. But let's go to the next segment here. And our guest will start with you, Deuce. Good, bad, ugly. And I'm adding one more thing. We're going to call it good, bad, ugly, and great. So you got to dig deep. Everyone dig deep and try to get us a good, bad, ugly, and a great from yesterday's game.
Of course, I'm gonna say good for Jahan Dotson, right? I'm still on that I'm sorry to her because I was completely wrong on my reactions on
I
draft day.
agree. Yeah,
all credit to Phil. I will give credit to Phil all day for that one because I was in that.
Oh, what happened? Let me hear it because I haven't heard too many people that was
apologized
good with
on Twitter about it, man. I was like, look, I
knew this kid was good.
Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, the only thing I knew about Jahan Dotson is he put 5 tutties on Maryland, right? That's all I know. He destroyed Maryland. That's all I knew about.
He made Clifford look like a great quarterback.
Yep, he did. And then once you
not an easy task.
And once it happened, you take a couple weeks, you start to get videos of him and stuff of him was flying in, and because you got to figure out who this guy is. So I'm going to keep riding that train as a good, and I'm gonna keep apologizing for that because I was highly upset. We want to run through them all, or just do good,
bad, ugly, great, man. Just spin them off.
Yeah, man. Bad is communication. Communication is terrible. Communication is bad. All you got to do is open your mouth. We heard all summer, all in OTAs, that the communication is getting better. They spending time with each other. They talking more. They talking at practice and all that. I went to a few practices for training camp, and I didn't hear a lot of talking, to be honest with you. During practice, I didn't hear a lot of no, stay right there. I didn't hear any of it, but not saying that they don't do it when I wasn't there. So whatever you practice, that's usually what you show in the game, and I just don't see the communication there. When it comes to ugly, oh man, the linebackers, like the hole filling. No one is filling holes. A lot of play side runs from the Lions. Jared Allen. Yeah, I remember him, right?
Oh yeah.
Allen getting double teamed on play side runs, Payne getting double teamed on the other side play side runs. There's no filling, like they're not flying up to the ball. And that's what I was told about Jamie Davis. He's athletic, he's speed, he's sideline to side. I was told all these things on draft day, but I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it from Cole Holcomb.
Caught in the wash.
Yeah, man.
He likes to run into piles.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. There's no way your D tackle getting double teamed right into you.
Which is why I think that the coach is so frustrated with Jamin, because of the fact that it's like there's no way he's being schemed to just run into the middle of a 3 or 4 man pile and just get lost in the wash.
And it's not just him; it's Cole Holcomb too. He had like 9 or 10 tackles in the first half, but they all second level tackles. Like your stats last year is overblown.
He missed one-on-one. He misses it every time.
It's overblown. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. You need, like with Jamin, you just see ball, get ball. Like we need to take this back to Pot Warner. See ball, get ball. Don't worry about nothing else. See ball, get ball. Let's see how this works.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. And great Carson Wentz, man. He put that Logan Thomas was on a dime. That pass to Terry last week, people were saying, he didn't get that. It was luck. He did it again. He did it again to Sammy's, and he put it right in the bucket where only Sammy's can get it. So I want a great Carson Wentz and Curtis Sammy's, man, because he took so much heat this past year, man. He out there balling, giving everything he had. He got punished on a couple plays. He held onto the ball. He got up. Man, a lot of times growing up, my mother told me, when you raise your children, you put as much into them when they do bad as when they do good. And that's something that we're not doing for Samuels. We should give him just as much attention that he's doing good.
By the way, I call Samuels being the best player on the team this year.
He did. All right, let me go to film 1 second. Let me get a couple comments in. Paul Fischel said 8-8. You got to go one way or the other, brother.
Yeah,
games in the season. Give me a 7-10, or give me a 9-8. Yam said, like I told Andy, sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth, learn how to fight. And this might be the call we needed. Mike's comments, great. Check this out. We have an 11-win offense and an 11-lose defense.
Right.
That's what? Somehow that's how the math works. And then Yam says, come on, Dev. He's never been good. I don't give 2 craps about social media. I talk shit on social all the time. Never want a team to fail. I think I just never liked the hire. I think he was going back talking about Jack Del Rio.
I don't mind Jack Del Rio. I don't think he should be fired in the middle of the season. I don't think that's productive for us at all. Yeah. I see it in the offseason for sure. If he don't improve, for sure. Yeah,
people are talking about restructuring Carson Wentz's contract. If he keeps putting up games like this, you do that deal. Do that deal ASAP.
This is my nightmare moment. I'm telling you, man, what's happening.
Yeah.
This is the night. You don't have to
Carson Wentz is about to smash all of our
restructure. If you restructure any of that deal, it gets guaranteed next year, bro. That's why
He
they haven't
is.
done it. And
He
I'm
is.
telling you, man, it's my worst nightmare. He's going to be a Pro Bowler, which I called, by the way. He's going to
And
be.
we're gonna let him walk.
Man, no, we can't let him walk.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. We can't let him walk. So we're going to be on the team next year, and we're going to have no cap. So we're going to run it back again next year, bro. And it's going to be the same shit. It's the scariest shit ever, man. So the team has to play better, man.
Well, Payne will be gone.
Good...
Payne will be gone. I don't think.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, Phil, go ahead. Good bag, ugly, and great for Phil. Go ahead.
Okay, the good was our passing offense, especially in the second half. That was tons of fun to watch. It lets you know that no matter how bad things are going, we're never out of a game. And for anybody who at halftime wanted Heineke, this is why Heineke can go away, because he would have never done what we saw Carson Wentz do. He doesn't have the downfield arm. We were getting the ball. The reason why we got back into that game was because of downfield passing and lots of it. All right. You finally see a quarterback with a real NFL arm and real NFL skills. Hell, he can even run. He looks, clunky as hell when he does it, but he knows how to do it. Right. So our passing game in general, great. Love it. Can't wait to see more of it. I am really excited because of the fact that this means we're never out of a game.
Right.
Yep.
The bad was blowing coverage. Blowing coverage. And allowing the Lions got more on 6 plays than they did the other 55 in the game.
Yep.
Big plays, big time plays. All it takes, man.
You can't allow the big plays.
Was it six?
Look, if you're not going to be a shutdown defense, you're going to be a bend but don't break defense. If you're going to bend but don't break, you can't break.
If you got to read the stat line and not just look at the scoring points, you would have thought we won. Like they weren't good on third down. They didn't get any fourth down attempts. They got field goals instead of touchdowns off turnovers. Like it really wasn't a good game for the Lions, except it was a great game for the Lions. At the same time, it's hard to explain.
Tale of two halves. The ugly is, I could go with a lot of things that were ugly, especially in the first half. But the ugly was just how do you just let guys get behind you? Like the ugly was a Swift play. I'm sorry. The Swift catch and run is one of the ugliest things I've seen in a decade. And I've sat through a lot of bullshit this team has thrown at me to watch. That one, I about broke my couch because I got so mad. I started I was thrashing around like a mental patient watching that. That was ugly. The great is the fight. Say what you want about coaches have lost the team. Really?
Nah.
If they had, that team doesn't fight like that and get back into the game. We were one score away multiple times.
Jay Gruden team would have laid down, bro.
Yeah.
Jay Gruden team would have laid down after the first quarter.
I'm a Jay Gruden fan.
Hey, breaking news. Yam just told us Philly's up 14-0 on Minnesota.
14-7.
I'm still
14-7? Okay.
Hey, Kirk, watch your successor over here in Carson Wentz came back in the second half. You need to do the same.
It's 14-7 now. They just went down and scored.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, man. I like that fight, man.
The fight was so there. And not only that, but with the coaches made adjustments. Even Del Rio, because like I said, we stopped them 6 straight drives.
Yeah.
So obviously something was adjusted there. And I had to go back and see all the adjustments, but I mean, it seemed like we got a better handle on what they were doing.
Yeah, he made some. Just like last week, it was very surprising. And I'm sorry if I cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Something that I haven't seen from this team in years. I mean, literally years happened last week on the Jaguars' last drive, and I keep pointing that out in spaces because I've been hard on Del Rio. So anytime I see something good, I over exaggerate it, because I want to make sure people understand that I'm being fair as possible. But on the last drive, when they had an opportunity to go down and score, our cornerbacks was within 5 yards that whole drive.
Mm.
Usually what we see here in DC on those type of situations, they be like 10, 12 yards down the field. Next thing you know, 30 seconds later is like first and goal from like the 9 or something. But he had those boys playing up, and that's something, and he made those adjustments. And he made a few adjustments last week.
The defensive back should never be playing 10 yards off ever again.
Never.
Whenever we come up, our pass defense is much better. Our run defense is better, right? Because, corners are up on the line anyway. You can seal it off the edge when they try to go wide. I don't know why, because they got up and pressed. It was funny because I was watching the Lions defense, and I said, see how none of their guys are more than 5 yards off the line of scrimmage? I was screaming at my TV about this. But fight. If they can fight like that, you can change schemes. You can make adjustments.
We don't have a Jeff Okuda, man.
I don't think he's that
good. What Jeff Okuda do?
Right? I don't think our guys is that good, though. That's the thing.
Terry burned him multiple times.
Yeah, Terry got behind him a couple times.
Yeah, Phil, did you give your grade, Phil?
My grade?
Your great, good, bad, ugly.
My grade was a fight.
Yeah, the fight. Okay, I'm sorry. Yep, got it. All right, hold on. Let's get a couple comments here. Marcus says should have kept Flowers. Turner stayed injured. I don't know if Turner's injured, but we still got some.
Flowers still home. Flowers still jobless right now.
Turner's not hurt. It's Schweitzer was hurt this last week.
No, Trey was hurt last week. Because remember, he was supposed to start, but Schweitzer ended up starting, and then he messed his hammy up, so Trey had to come in.
But Turner started this week.
Yeah, because West was hurt.
Yeah.
Last week, Trey was supposed to start, but he was hurt.
We had plenty of depth. We're cycling through these guys.
No,
I think we're fine.
Yeah, said I'm going to be hypercritical on the D. This team, especially with Ron said, a defense coached by him would allow offenses to dictate it to them. Yet here we are. Yeah, that's true. Let me get Greg, and then I'll go to you, Dev. Good Wentz, bad special teams, ugly secondary. Hey, straight to the point. Dev, go ahead. What's your good, bad, ugly, great?
Good would be the adjustments Scott Turner seemed to make in the second half. I'll give him that. The bad is the offensive line in the first half. Jesus Christ, bro. Like, you let a rookie whoop your ass 3 times for 3 sacks in the first half.
Hard knock swag
whooped
still
a
still
rookie
on.
and Harris both whooped your ass in the first half.
2 was covered.
5 sacks in the first half. Wasn't there some shit like that? 5?
Yeah, the first 2 was cover sacks.
Man, I don't care how you get them. They still got sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get any cover sacks, which would be my ugly. Our coverage is terrible. And what would be the great? I agree with what I guess most of you guys said. Carson Wentz, man. I thought he would be good. But if we get these first 2 games, Carson, for 18 weeks, man, we're in good shape. Man. I'm kind of excited to see what he does against the Eagles, who have a very formidable defense. By far the better of the 3 teams we played so far on defense on paper. Even though Saxonville, by the way, this is what I mean. This is the great. I should have used this as the great. Thank you, Jacksonville, for whooping Jim Irsay's ass, man. Because I'm tired.
Oh man, 24-0.
Shit.
I was looking for his tweets today.
Is a coach, man, and they dog went out about Jacksonville. Jacksonville, by the way, has beaten the Colts in Jacksonville 8 straight times now. 8 straight times. But for some reason, they thought Wentz was the reason for all 8 of them when he was on.
Matt Ryan was going to be their savior. And Deb, I saw a tweet today.
500 yards.
It took 12 weeks for Carson Wentz to get his 4th interception last year. So it took 12 weeks, and he threw 4 picks, right? On the Colts.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, 2 weeks, he already has 4.
Right.
It's like, get his nuts out your mouth and leave us alone. Go worry about your own quarterback.
My, have the tables have turned. You know what I'm saying? And that's my grade for the day. Fuck Jim Irsay. Go commies. I'm saying.
All right, you all want to hear a couple interesting stats?
Yeah, hurry up, Phil. Go ahead.
All right. Do you know that we are the 3rd best team in the league right now in third downs on offense? And the 5th best on defense?
Wentz is like number 2 in the best quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, but this is the good stuff. We are 56% on third down. We are on offense. On defense, 28%. We've only allowed 7 conversions of 25 third down attempts.
That's because they're getting first and second down. They're not even getting third down.
Oh.
Right, and I didn't.
Also, are perfect in red zone offense. The problem is that we only have been in the red zone 5 times. We are 6 of 11 on defense on red zone defense, which is 17th. We are actually our first in the league in red zone percentage. But that's 6 that we've allowed them in the red zone 11 times.
Well, we don't get to the red zone. We usually score outside the red zone. So, I mean, I think
we score from inside and outside the red zone.
Carson has to be in the top 3 in pass yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, we are actually 8th in scoring right now in the league at 27.5 points a game.
What are we at passing yards though?
Passing? It doesn't have all that. Oh, wait, here we go. Passing yards, we are second in the league in passing yards.
Second in
we
touchdowns,
are first in passing touchdowns.
Right. I mean, say what you want to say.
Our defense is 21st in allowing passing yards. The problem is that we are awful running the ball. We are 28th in rushing yards, and we are dead last in rush defense. I'm sorry. We are not. We are 25th in rushing yards allowed, 27th in allowed, 25th in rushing yards for. We also are allowing 7.5 yards a carry. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Especially with who's coming to town next week.
Yep. Paul Fisher goes back to 7 and 10. There you go. Thank you for the record correction.
Yeah. Well, Paul, you said you're wrong. I know, Paul.
Greg Delaney says, I think the first quarter Lions won the field of possession. Commanded field of possession in the first quarter was terrible.
Paul took a win. Paul took a win. Hold on, man. We got to Paul. Paul took a win, though. He didn't just add. Yeah, but he took a win. He didn't just add 8 and 9 or 9 and 8.
Hey,
he took a win.
I'm down with 7 and 10 or 8 and 9.
Who did you take the win from, Paul? I'm curious about this. Who did you take the win from?
Philly next week.
Year 3, we've been growing.
Yeah,
famous fence rider right here.
I'll give mine. So my good, I went a little bit different. Kind of did some intangible stuff. My good was resiliency. What you guys said was part of the great thing. You know, we did come back. We did show that we had the ability to not fold over and get belly up like we've seen in the past. The bad offensive, Chase Rouillet going out, that's bad for me. When you lose your center, that's like, I hate to say it, but it's almost like the most important position second to the quarterback. Dude's calling protections at the line. They're getting to the second level. You know, centers have a lot of responsibility. So for Chase to go down, and then I don't know who's going to step in, if it's going to be Wes, and then Trey will go to guard. But that's bad for me.
But all 3 of them are out, bro. Paul, Chris Paul, all of them are out.
Paul was out last week too. Yeah.
So Paul's on like the injured list or some shit.
He is. The ugly was special teams. No one talked about it, but our special teams was horrendous. I mean, giving up punts, giving up kicks, missing field goals. That onside kick went like 6 yards. Like terribly executed. It was horrendous. And then the great was you guys kind of said it too, but we got humbled. And I think Yam said it earlier. We got punched in the mouth. I think Deuce said it too. We got punched in the mouth, and this is what we needed. The fan base needed it. The team needed it. We were getting a little bit high on our horses, and I would like to say I hope we bounce back and just do better.
Because Jacksonville,
we'll see, man. And, all right, so let's move on to the final segment here before we shut the thing down, and let's go game balls. Give us a game ball, Deuce, offense and defense.
This may not be because I'm gonna go a different route. I don't think any of y'all are gonna pick. Now let y'all pick the other guys. I'm gonna go Logan Thomas for a game ball for offense. I'm gonna go Logan Thomas. I think he's not even 100% yet. He's showing how dominant and how reliable he can be for Carson Wentz. I think they just need to, work together a little bit more to get those passes and things down. That's like the tip ball interception. That happened in, I think it was the fourth quarter. He said that, hey, look, I need to run the route deeper. I need to jump higher. Look, Logan, you couldn't even jump higher before the injury. You're not jumping no higher than that.
Carson took responsibility for
that. Yep. And Wentz came right back and said, no, I'm not going to let him take that. I need to get the ball down.
Yeah.
And for the game balls, for defense, oh, man. I don't know, man.
It's tough. You don't have to get one out.
I'll say fours. I wasn't on the show last week, so I think
Yeah.
I would have gave him a game ball last week. And I think we got to remember he's a 2-year classroom player, but he's only a 1-year football player. I think that he shows like he's that guy. He had a couple missed assignments, but he also was there. He's also was playing hard. He was in position to make a lot of plays. He made a few plays yesterday. I think we haven't won. I don't think it was just one game out the box last week, but I don't know if you all, how much you all look at my posts and stuff, but all since the off season, he's my spotlight, one of my spotlight players for the year. So I was an opportunity to plug that on y'all show. So
fair enough.
I'm gonna go with Forrest on defense.
Fair enough. All right. Phil, we went to you next real quick. Marcus said good, bad, ugly. Wentz, bad, good Wentz, bad blocking, ugly misgaps, and poor communication. Yim says Carson and Jahan carrying the team right now with the dash for Curtis, Terry, AG, and the mic. All right, go ahead, Phil. Game balls.
All right, game balls, offense. I'm stealing everybody's thunder, and I'm saying Carson Wentz.
There you go. Fair.
I mean, there's a couple other people that could get that game ball for sure, but I'm going to say Carson Wentz willed this team just winging that ball downfield and making completions left, right, and center. All right. On defense, I'm going to go DeBron Payne. DeBron Payne has sacked, 4 tackles, 1 for loss, 2 quarterback hits, had pretty full stat sheet there. So I'm going to give DeBron Payne the game ball for that. I can't even give Cole Holcomb an honorable mention because he had 10 tackles, only 3 were solo. Whereas Derek Forrest, of his 10 tackles, 8 were solo.
Right.
Honorable mention Derek Forrest, though. I love watching him do a back body drop on DeAndre Swift, though. See him just flip. Was it Swift or was it Williams? He flipped one of them upside down, like head over heels. Loved it. I just love seeing shit like that.
Was that the TJ one on the out pattern? He came out and made that stop.
No, it was over the middle. It was coming over the middle, and they came up and met him, and Forrest got under him, and then Fuller came in, and then they kind of like did like an old school, like tag team wrestling back body drop, and split them back over.
Like the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite tag teams, bro.
The Demolition was mine.
Yeah, I was a big Demolition fan.
Oh yeah, they was up there.
Axe and Smash. All right, Dev, go ahead.
Guy myself.
Man, my game ball. You stole mine, by the way, on defense. I was gonna go Payne. So, on offense,
you gotta give it to Cole Holcomb.
Never. I'm giving it to myself for living through it.
He's here to himself. I'm changing mine. I'm giving me the game ball.
I'm giving me the game ball for watching this shit. I'm the offense. I'm gonna go with Scott Turner.
He said Holcomb tackles were in self-defense.
What?
He said Holcomb tackles were in self-defense.
Right. I got a game ball right here.
On the comment section.
Man, you're right. Absolutely right, man. You make business decisions.
Gunny man. Holcomb tackles were in self-defense.
That was a good one.
Man, dude. You know what's jacked up about Holcomb is I actually like Holcomb and I come across as a hater. I don't think he's a bad starting linebacker. I just think he's a terrible Mike. I think you need somebody who can carry the middle of the field as a Mike. And Holcomb's good at covering the flat and making tackles in the backfield. If he has to make an open field tackle, he can't do that. If he has to guard somebody open field, he can't do that, bro. So
Holcomb's too undersized to be trying to play in the middle. That's my problem. Like if you're going to have your Mike come up and play and assist in the interior line, he ain't it. Man, he's not Zach Thomas.
We've been needing a Mike for about 4
and be undersized.
We've been needing a Mike for 4 or 5 years. Holcomb been on the team 4 of it, dog, and he ain't never played it yet. While we needed a Mike, all of a sudden,
I don't have to get
all of a sudden just go to Mike and be good when he been there the whole time with Bostic beating him out for the job. You mean Bostic beat him out for the job 3 years in a row? All of a sudden, he's better than Bostic.
Yep. So, Dev, who you going with, man?
What?
Cole Holcomb?
No, I'm going with me. Fuck that. No,
okay, offense.
Game balls in my name right
Scott
there.
Turner, man.
Scott Turner. Okay.
Scott's tots.
Scott's tots. Hey, Mr. Scott, what you gonna do? All right. Marcus said offense wins, defense forced. I know Phil and Paul had some banter going on in the comments. Good stuff. Yam says, remember to hit that like button on YouTube, folks. Thank you, Yam, for the plug. We appreciate you. Greg says, offensive game ball, Dotson. Defensive game ball, Jonathan Allen playing through injury. That's good. Good point. Allen is a stud, man. Yam says, AJ Brown hurt, going to the tent. Stay hurt, bro. And I want to wish you hurt, but stay hurt. Gunny Man with the comment of the day with the hokum tackles versus self-defense. He's saying Wentz in pain. Get his game balls. Also said Road Warriors. Paul Fisher also said Road Warriors.
If you had to pick one guy that was our defensive player so far of the year,
Paulie, we got you, bro. 757. I remember you, man. I remember. We still need to link up, man. I owe you a phone call.
If you had to give one guy defensive player of the year on our team, I know it's only 2 games. It would have to be Payne, right? At this point, it would have to be Payne.
Year so far?
Yeah, our best player on defense so far this year.
It's only been 2 games. I mean, you could if you go over 2, I'd be probably Payne.
For the first 2, Payne.
Yeah, had Allen not be injured, but
the one we didn't pay, right?
Yeah, my game balls. I'm going with Jahan on offense. Man, he took some. I kind of want to go Curtis too.
No one said Curtis Samuel.
I was going to go Curtis or Jahan. No, I'll go Curtis, man. Curtis took some tough blows after these catches. If you guys watch that, after some of those catches, man, he hit the ground hard. He took some brutal hits after those catches. He hit onto the ball. So, I'll go Curtis. I'll give him to Curtis. I was going to go Jahan, but everyone's going to disagree. There's not anyone left, but I'm going to give Jamin Davis the game ball, man. He came out gunning the first series. Not a whole lot. Sorry, slim pickings, but he got that sack on the first defensive possession.
He had 2 quarterback
I'll give it to him. Yeah, he did okay statistically, but I'll try to hype him up where he can. I'm not going to give it to myself. Like Dev did.
I was shooting Tress Way for not pulling his hammy all them damn punts in the first half.
Give it to Joey Sly for that 6-yard onside kick, man. That's what I should do. But yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. Hey, Deuce, we man, it's been fun. Thank you for coming out, man. We really appreciate you coming out. And as we shut this down, what? Say that again, Dev.
We didn't ask Deuce how he became a Redskins fan, man.
We sure did. We did it up front.
At the very beginning. Where the hell you been,
born
Dev?
Into this?
Damn, man.
Damn, we must be wearing off on you right now.
I did not partake in any devil's lettuce before this podcast.
You probably should have. You probably should have. You seen Half Baked, right? You can't function when you're sober. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Deuce, any shout outs, man, before we close it down?
Man, the Command This podcast, shout out y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Real talk is absolute pleasure, and I had fun. Appreciate the love.
Yeah, thank you. Marcus, thanks for joining. Yam, have a great day. Catch y'all later. Yeah, real shout outs before everyone leaves. Mike from Southwest, Mike Piot, friend of ours, Eddie Mike Show, Corey Lott, Paulie, Gunny Man, Rep the District, Greg Delaney, Paul Fischel, Marcus Edlin, Yam in Japan, Corey Lott. Thank you for joining, man. We appreciate you guys' comments in the stream, man. Keep the conversation going, and shout out to Deuce for coming on with us. I know it's late notice, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
It's all good, man. I'm always in the lab, man.
You are,
man. That's what y'all see me doing. I'm in the lab, man.
Straight up. Phil, what you got?
Shout out to Deuce for coming on. I know he's the king of the Twitter space. Twitter spaces, for sure. And always in our little, Potter and Twitter group chats, just constantly chopping up in there. Hardest working man on Twitter right there.
That's right.
Shout out to everybody joining the stream. We had a lot of comments tonight. A few people who haven't come in a while. Nice to see y'all. And shout out to Greg Williams, Greg Blosh, all the other good defensive coordinators that are still alive from this team's past that are out there. Y'all want a job?
He's in the XFL. Greg Williams working in the XFL.
He is.
Our Warren Sapp.
Is he a head coach or a coordinator?
Defensive coordinator for the DC team.
Defenders? He's not on the Defenders, is he?
Yeah, he's a defensive coordinator.
He ain't got a move.
Oh man, I missed that.
With the XFL, yep.
How did we miss that?
We need to sit in his front yard.
That DC, if they call themselves the Defenders, that is the best name possible for it.
Hey, Deuce, we got to catch a game at Audi Field, man.
I still haven't been there yet,
man.
But yeah.
Oh,
I got to get over there, man.
They're going to come back in full force, man. It's going to be great. Yeah, what you got for shout outs, man?
NFL team here, man. We ain't got shit in Kentucky. We got the Louisville Cardinals and Wildcats, though.
You do. You basketball town.
Cunningham.
Y'all got the Arc.
Huh? No, that's St. Louis. We talking about the Arc.
Yeah, Noah's Ark. And that's in Kentucky.
Oh, that is up here. You're right. You're right. Not the real one, by the way.
Yeah.
It's on Mount Sinai or some hey, Bible school. But definitely, we don't have the Ark. We have a castle or two. Random.
That's it. You got bourbon.
And some bourbon and chicken. That's about it. Bourbon, chicken, basketball, and arcs.
What more do you need?
Shout out to Noah, by the way. That's my shout out. Noah, thank you, bro.
There you go. Hey, we appreciate you all. Like I said, if you haven't already done so, please go like and subscribe to Deuce's channel. The link is in the description of this YouTube video. Please go check him out. Follow him on Twitter. I also posted his Twitter profile page in the description as well. So please go follow man Deuce, man. He's everywhere. He's busy, man. Good. Don't want to miss the spaces he's putting on too as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. We appreciate everyone for tuning in and listening. We'll be back Thursday for a Philly game preview. And hopefully, Minnesota will handle business tonight and do a little damage on Philly, soften them up for us for Sunday. It could be a hell of a game on Sunday. So
yeah, they have 21.
Score highlight is
they have 34. They have 34-7
over the Titans.
Your son's probably over there crying right now.
34-7.
Bills over the Titans.
Yep. Stephon Diggs.
Hey man, I want y'all to know that I played Willis
148 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I played Willis in fantasy football, so he might get in.
Why would you do that?
It was in FanDuel. It was like $1. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put Willis in just in case he plays.
Louisville fanboy, man.
Willis
he's Liberty. He's Liberty. Liberty.
Okay, all your black quarterbacks don't look alike, bro.
Cunningham.
All black quarterbacks don't look alike.
No,
Steve.
Us Asians all look alike.
I ain't saying it.
I can say it though. All right, we love you guys. Thank you as always. Peace.
Asian man.
And hey-o.